What could be more Space Wolf than a wolf guard riding into battle on the back of a giant Thunderwolf? Nothing. Today, we're talking tactics on the Thunderwolf Cavalry.
Anvil of War! Let's talk tactics!
Hey guys, and welcome back to Anvil of War Gaming and another episode of Let's Talk Tactics on the Space Wolves. Before we get into it, I do want to do a little reminder. Bottom right hand corner, there's a little Anvil of War icon. At any point during this video, if you're enjoying our content, please hit that logo. It will subscribe you to our channel, and we will continue to make more videos because that's why we do it, for you guys. So. Also, I do want to do a shout out to Zach from Brushfire Studios. All the models that you're going to see spun today are actually painted by him. He painted our entire Space Wolf collection, and we're pretty proud of it, and I think it looks really, really good. So check out his stuff. We have links in our social media as well as in the video description. So today we are talking about the Thunderwolf Cavalry for Let's Talk Tactics. First off, with these guys, for statistics, you've got a movement of 10 inches, weapon skill 3+, ballistic skill 3+, strength of 4, toughness 5, 3 wounds, 2 attacks apiece, leadership of 8, and a save of 3+. Now, they come stock with a bolt pistol and a chainsword, and then the wolves themselves actually have a close combat weapon that they can use, which is their crushing teeth and claws, which is a strength 5, AP -1, damage 1 weapon. Now, these guys are a fast-moving cavalry with 3 to 6 models, and on the table, I mean, 10-inch move is pretty great. I think I would really like to see them have like a 12-inch move and keeping up with like cavalry and bikes and things of that nature, just because they are giant wolves and they would be pretty fast. But unfortunately, we're stuck with that 10-inch move, and this is a unit that I find that a lot of Space Wolf players are either really happy about or and really enjoy throwing on the tabletop, or players that think they're just too points heavy. They are a points heavy unit once you kit them out with all of their weapon options. Now, speaking of weapon options, they have the ability to swap their bolt pistol and their chainsword with a storm shield, which you're almost always going to do for every model. I think it's just pretty much a given that you're going to throw that 3+ invulnerable save on them, because with a T5, multiple wounds, and the ability to take stuff on their storm shield saves, it makes them a very hardy and durable unit, and these guys tend to get targeted quite a bit. Additionally, you can also swap out any of their weapons with any combinations of melee weapons. They can also take a a plasma pistol and a bolt gun as options as well, but I don't really ever see this being a viable option. I mean, maybe a plasma pistol on a sergeant if you're really feeling like it, but why would you do that when you can just give them a melee weapon and a storm shield and really complement their special rules? Speaking of special rules, these guys do have all of the Marine basic special rules that apply to them. They've got They Shall Know No Fear. They have shock assault, which gives them +1 attack when they charge, if they charge. If they're charged, or if they heroically intervene, giving them +1 attack. So that brings them the basic guy up to 3 attacks, and the sergeant with the +1 attack of 4 attacks. Makes them pretty deadly, and they could put out quite a bit of hurt. One of my preferences for loadout options is probably the Thunderhammer Storm Shield combination, just because it's just devastating. I mean, it threatens big targets. But at the same time, I like to mix the unit up a little bit and throw some cheaper models in there, because the Thunderhammer Storm Shield combo is kind of expensive and point hefty. So what I end up doing is I throw a Frost Axe on a few of the guys with the Storm Shield, just to give them that. They can still hurt like elite infantry and stuff of that nature, still chew through some infantry, but not getting that -1 to hit, meaning these guys are always going to be hitting on 2+. And with the Thunderhammer guys hitting on 3s, it's a pretty scary unit, especially when you factor in some stratagems and combinations with those. So other special rules. So thanks to Saga of the Beast, we now have some extra special rules that work in conjunction with our base Space Wolf rules and with the combat doctrines. So now when you're in the assault doctrine mode, you are also gaining the ability to have exploding sixes, and those sixes are generating extra hits. Now, this is not going to be taking place until turn 3 at the earliest, which, at that point, they're either blasted off the table or you've got them stuck in and maybe have only 1 or 2 left, depending on the size of unit that you ran. Just because they've absorbed so much damage, and they've probably done a lot of damage on the way in, but now you've got a situation where you only have a couple models left, so that rule can come into its own and actually benefit them quite a bit in keeping their damage output high while they're sustaining casualties. So it's kind of a cool rule. And also I should remind everybody that they do have the Hunters Unleashed special rule, which is the +1 to hit if they're charged, or if they heroically intervene as well, as I mentioned. So +1 to hit, you're getting, like I said, Thunderhammers are now hitting on their base stat line of 3+, because the -1 is negated. And then also you have the +1 on any other weapons, giving them that 2+, which is great. So as far as stratagems are concerned, the base Space Wolf Codex has several that are pretty good. Laugh in the Face of Death for 1 command point. Basically, if the unit is affected by any leadership, negative leadership auras or abilities, just looking at like Night Lords or Chaos Spawn or anything like that, what's going to happen is they're actually going to get to reroll all hits, which is, it's pretty great. It's all hits, so if you don't have a character nearby or anything like that, then you're going to be looking at this. Again, if you're hitting on 2s and you have a Wolf Lord nearby, you're going to be re-rolling all 1s anyways, so not really great. It's a situational stratagem, as most of the ones from the base codex are for this unit, but you also have Overwhelming Savagery, which is 1 command point specific to Thunderwolf Cavalry, and it allows them to basically re-roll 1s to wound, which again, on something like a Thunderhammer with that strength 8, it can be pretty nasty, and you can get some more damage on big things like knights and such. Also, I should mention the Emperor's Executioners. Again, situational. If you're in a tournament and you draw a lucky game against a Thousand Suns player, and you got to play that hated enemy, well, they're going to have a lot of mortal wound output, which is kind of the kryptonite for these guys. We'll touch a little bit more on that in a sec, but you need to be making sure that you're able to deal that damage out, as well as you're going to be taking additional damage because of that, just because of the way that Thousand Suns work. So Emperor's Executioners, what it's going to do is it's allowing you hit rolls of 4+, and it doesn't specify unmodified 4+, which means with Space Wolves on the charge, if heroically intervening, you're now working with 3+, and those 3+ are exploding into additional attacks. Now you still have to roll to hit with these attacks, but it's still a great stratagem. After that, we have Honor the Chapter. 3 command points, the ability to fight again, pretty great. Again, situational. You have to really make sure that this is going to be worth it, because command points in the current edition, we are going into 9th edition, where they promise that the playing field has been leveled for command points. So really excited to see what that does for the game. But as of right now, with 8th edition, we do have some issues with generating lots of command points. So 3 command points for 1 stratagem, it has to be worth it. Finally, we're getting into the Saga of the Beast stratagem. So with those, you have the Crushing Assault stratagem, which is basically, it's dedicated for Thunderwolf Cavalry. Thunderwolves got a lot of love in Saga of the Beast. They got a bunch of stratagems that were dedicated to them or can affect them because of keywords, etc. And they're really strong. In Crushing Assault, essentially what happens is after you've made a charge move, you pick an enemy unit that's within 1 inch of your of each of your models in that unit. It has to be within 1 inch of each model. So it's, with the size of the bases of the Thunderwolves, if you're charging something big, like a knight, and you're able to wrap them, and you get a good charge off, and you're able to get all of your guys in after you consolidate, or after you make your pile in, etc., you're going to end up rolling dice, and for every 2+ you roll, you're getting to do a mortal wound. Now, with a full unit of 6 Thunderwolf Cavalry being able to do, I mean, you're going to, on average, do 5 mortal wounds. It's not bad. It might be those 5 wounds that make the difference of taking down something like a knight or, Lord of Skulls, looking at you, Owen, or something like that. This could be the difference. So also in Saga of the Beast, we got the Vicious Executioners, which is Wolfguard specific keyword. And what it's going to do is it allows you to do mortal wounds on a wound roll, unmodified wound roll of 6. Now, this applies to the whole model, and the whole model has the Wolfguard keyword. Therefore, the wolf, the mount that you are riding, with its 3 additional attacks from its Crushing Teeth and Claws, is also going to benefit from this. So you're going to get a plethora of attacks from a unit, and you're going to be able to really maximize your damage output with more mortal wounds potential from that. So when combined, and it's 1 command point, so when combined with the Crushing Assault, you can combine the two to really do a lot of mortal wounds on a big target very quickly, or a really hardy target that you're trying to get through to. So, and finally, there's the Death Grip Bite. So now with Death Grip Bite, it's only 1 command point, and it's going to up the damage on the Crushing Teeth and Claws to 2, which is pretty strong. It can really threaten something big. I mean, the strength is only 5 on these guys, so if you're getting reroll the wounds or something like that, it's going to really help. But still, definitely worth it, especially with those 2 damage going through per bite. If you're fighting against something that's like an elite infantry that has a toughness of around 5, maybe even 4, or if you're fighting against other Space Marines and you're fighting against Primaris, upping these guys to be able to do 2 damage per bite is going to be clutch. So that's pretty much it for the stratagems. Now, when we're getting into character synergies with these guys, you're going to want some characters that are able to keep up with them and the speed of them, or be there when the Thunderwolves manage to get into combat and get stuck in. So with that, we are going to be looking at 2 kind of character synergies. One is the Wolf Lord. Wolf Lord on Thunderwolf is a great unit to assist these guys. Now, as mentioned before, for 1 command point, you're able to give these guys reroll 1s to wound, but the Wolf Lord's going to give them the reroll 1s to hit, and it's going to prevent you from having to spend other command points. If it comes down to it, I'm going to want a Wolf Lord on a Thunderwolf with a Thunderhammer and Storm Shield getting in there with these guys, because that combined unit, it's going to do one of 2 things. One, it's going to guarantee, or essentially guarantee, that your Wolf Lord gets where he needs to be, and he's going to take something big down, because he's going to be probably fully untouched by the time he gets into melee. The reason is that the Thunderwolves around him are very likely going to be absorbing a ton of shots, and if they are, or a ton of attention from the enemy, and if they are, then they might be getting removed from the table, but luckily with their movement and the speed, they're probably going to get into combat and get your Wolf Lord where he needs to be. So great distraction Carnifex kind of unit for your enemy, and if your enemy ignores them, they're going to be sorely disappointed in that decision. Moving on from that, as far as other synergies I can kind of think of, the Wolf Priest with all of the new litanies. There's some really great combinations with that. Litany of Faith, giving them 5+ feel no pain against mortal wounds. Again, going back to talking about playing against Thousand Suns or a psychic heavy army, or armies that are able to dish out tons of mortal wounds, giving them that 5+ feel no pain aura against those mortal wounds is amazing, and it's going to keep them on the board a lot longer. Hopefully, if you've played Nurgle, you know that those 5+s can be really frustrating. Also, we have Canticle of Hate. This is giving them a little bit additional punch on the charge, giving them +2 inches to their charge rolls. I would take a Wolf Priest with a jump pack, just based on the fact that they're going to be able to keep up with the unit with their 12-inch move, and you can keep them kind of in that bubble with your Wolf Lord and just a big blob of scary, scary fur charging up the table. And yeah, with the Litany of Hate, you're also adding 3 inches to pile in and consolidate. So it's also allowing them to get stuck in further, and might complement something like Honor the Chapter, where you're able to strike again with this unit, because now you're able to get deeper in and kind of guarantee yourself making those command points count. So finally, I mean, all of the litanies are really great. I think they're just amazing, and they complement the Space Wolf melee prowess really well. But the one I really want to mention is the new Tale of the Wolf King litany, which is basically if you're fighting against a vehicle, if your guys are swinging against a vehicle or a monster, it's going to give them +1 to their damage on their weapons. So now all of a sudden Thunderhammers are swinging at damage 4. And you've also got things like Wolf Claws being able to swing for 2 damage apiece, and the axes being able to swing for 2 damage apiece. It's pretty strong. And also, again, we have to mention that this stacks in addition to the crushing teeth and claws on the wolves, on the mounts. So they're going up to damage 2 attacks, and then if you stack the stratagem, then you're also you're going up to 3 damage per bite with 3 attacks per model. And most of the time you're going to have those rerolls, and you're getting that +1 to hit because they also benefit from +1 to hit. Yeah, you can see where this is going. It gets kind of ridiculous, but yeah, being able to do 3 damage with a bite from a wolf is pretty awesome, and perfectly Space Wolf. And I love this unit. I love running them on the tabletop. I think they're one of my favorite units. I think a lot of players are really drawn towards the newer units, drawn towards the options with Primaris units, and not that they're not good, they are, but Space Wolves really benefit from close combat units based on all of their special rules being specified for close combat. So with Primaris Intercessors with chainswords on the horizon, you're going to get some really, really cool combinations with that side of things, but there's still a firm place for all of the Space Wolf sort of specific units where you have Thunderwolf Cavalry and such finding a home and being able to drive some serious damage down your opponents. So yeah, we hope you guys enjoyed this video, and again, like, share, subscribe, and thank you guys so much for watching. Take care.
Sponsored by
Thanks for watching, guys. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more of our content, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and let us know that you want to see more content from Anvil of War Gaming. Or Space Wolf comment. Thanks for watching, guys.